So brief background, I'll just quickly tell my journey on how I kind of led to this content. So grew up in Atlanta, lifetime entrepreneur, grew up in an entrepreneurial family. I was that kid that actually had little micro machines. And you all remember micro machines, little tiny toys? So in third grade, I asked for all of, for my birthday, Christmas, and actually went to this little Christian school, but also grabbed little Crown Royal bags behind the bar at my parents, and that's what I took them into third grade, and I rented them to all my friends. Had a VP of sales, had a little newsletter. My mom actually found the folder the other day. Yeah, it was actually pretty well progressed. I had a frequent shopper card. I had a VP of marketing named Winter Hawkins, still remember her today. But it's funny, so being an entrepreneurial family, my dad drove me to school every day. And I would just ask him questions, and that's kind of sort of the outcome from it. And I ended up having a tutoring company in high school, so I actually partnered with all the local middle schools and helped navigate kids through summer with a tutoring company. So I knew I was going to go down that path. Got a chance for college to go to some good schools, but I knew I was going to go the entrepreneurial path. I was going to move back to Atlanta. Signed with a company, and about 2 weeks before I was supposed to start, they ended up going under. It was an investment banking firm, and so I got to keep 3 months severance pay, my signing bonus, and never worked a day for the business. I was like, I got 20 grand, I didn't do a thing, so let me make a career out of finding the next failing business. So it's kind of one of those fork in life opportunities that I had of either I had a couple offers on the table of some other companies or start my entrepreneurial career, and that's what I did. So I took that money, tucked my tail, moved back in with my parents, started my first business living with my grandmother and my aunt and my mom in a corner on computers helping low-income people qualify for free medications with a patient assistance program that we helped launch with doctors' offices. Over the last 20 years, I've built companies, product-based businesses, service-based businesses. My last business, we had about 10,000 accounts in the U.S., about 18 countries internationally in the teeth whitening space. We actually manufacture and distribute teeth whitening products. And long story short, we had a manufacturer, after 50,000 units, changed one component on us, and it caused the teeth whitening gel to react and teeth whitening pens to explode in purses all over the country to the tune of about 10,000 units. So took about 10 years off my life. And but at the end of the day, I had to get really innovative, like a lot of you had to do probably, right? In terms of cash got tight, I had to figure out how to do things fast and lean. And that's when I learned about these low-cost, offshore, virtual resources, some domestic, some international, that literally changed the game. And inside of 6 months, we built a team of 50 people, and we were getting tens of thousands of dollars of work done for $300 to $500, and equipped me with a level of agility that I had never experienced. So we ended up exiting that business, sold our manufacturer, and took that knowledge set, and now that's what I do. I'm very passionate about with Brad Stevens Training, and what we do is helping people understand how to embrace this stuff and to leverage it and grow it in their businesses. And so now I get a chance to speak on this stuff all over the world, which is really exciting and fun, and it's just literally changed lives of seeing this get impacted when people implement in their business in different organizations. So I share all that this is proven stuff. It's not theory, it's not concepts. I live and breathe it every day. I help people live and breathe it every day, and what I'm going to show you is exactly tactical, step by step, not concepts. All right? So as I said, when I talk about outsourcing and virtual assistants, everybody in the room has a different perspective, different concept. What does that mean? Is that Siri, right? Is that, is that the front desk person that gets coffee? What is that? So what comes to mind is just kind of check that at the gate and let me kind of rebuild that a little bit in your mind, because it's changing the game, and it's not also what a lot of people think, right? It's like, Brad, you're talking about, shipping jobs, you're not un-American, you're not building jobs in this country, right? That's not the case, right? This is the situation that a lot of you are probably in, that you just can't flat afford another full-time person at $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and this creates a bridge and a gap to afford resources that you wouldn't otherwise. I've seen companies come out of bankruptcy because they got these resources and then hired more W-2 employees in this country because they use offshore resources to afford to get through the challenges, all right? And I can share a lot of stories on that. It's pretty game-changing. So the reason why it's failed a lot of times for people, how many of y'all read this book, 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss, right? 10 years ago. And it still sits in this novelty concept of these magical people in another land that can do very low-cost work, right? Versus it being structural, serious change that you can literally use in your business to change your life. And secondly is assuming a failure mentality. How many of you have got started like a logo project on Fiverr and are like, I know this is going to fail, but I'm going to make a half effort to try and make it work, and then it doesn't work out? Anybody tried as far as any outsourcing projects or anything before? So that's what happens a lot of times. It's just like, I'm going to assume this is going to work, and it'd take more time for me to explain to somebody to do it myself. And then it didn't work out, and it kind of just validated what your mindset was going into it, kind of what we learned about today. So that's typically the mentality that a lot of people have. So what I want to do is actually, part of what I'm going to share is I got a whole team in the Philippines I work with. I was actually speaking with several of you that actually have some teams that you're actually building in that country and otherwise. But I can explain to you all day long what it's like. But I said, I'm going to hire a film crew to go follow my VAs over there and just show you what it's like behind the scenes. because people have different perceptions unless they've been there or been to some of these countries, and I'll talk about specifically the Philippines and India as well in some cases. So this is a quick video of following my VA and kind of see a little bit behind the scenes.
Hi, I'm Jaisal, and I'm Brad's virtual assistant, and this is how I start my day. Common tasks that a virtual assistant can help you include email management, project management, social media management, overseeing a team of freelancers, and even personal research, planning a travel, and the list goes on. I constantly seek improvement and personal growth, including becoming a certified project manager. In the Philippines, we have a culture of hard work and discipline, but we also strive for work-life balance. That's it. Talk to you in the next one. Bye!
And she literally is that adorable, actually. I actually got back from a 5-day trip in the Philippines and Bill visiting, and we're launching some stuff there. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight of sort of what is that world like, and as far as the perceptions people have, and I don't want to assume anybody's knowledge here, but I didn't even, right? As far as, no, they have laptops and MacBooks and Starbucks and kind of how they operate. So a little background, when I talk about kind of virtual assistants, right, a lot of them live in the Philippines, and India is also another main source. English speaking, most of them learn English as a primary language as part of their upbringing. Americanized culture, hardworking, and a lot of them have full university and graduate degrees. I mean, India is actually graduating more master's degrees than anywhere else in the world, like 1.2 million, I can't remember as far as the metric on it. It's tremendous. And in the Philippines, U.S. actually controlled the Philippines up until 1947, which a lot of people don't realize. So it's a completely Americanized culture. You literally feel like you're walking down Main Street when you go visit, right? So they're taught American education. But the economics is minimum wage is $1 to $1.50 per hour over there in U.S. dollars. That means that for $7 to $8 an hour, and sometimes as little as 5 to 6, you can get an unbelievably talented individual, right? 4-year college degree. My VA is Lean Six Sigma certified, right? Tremendous talent, skill set, right? Think about $7 an hour, right? Is 7 times minimum wage in their country. In the U.S., that'd be making like $104,000 a year. You can get a pretty good person for $104,000 in this country. This is they make more money than software engineers, accountants, and nurses in their country, okay? There's just one reference point. So it's not somebody in a sweatshop, you're taking advantage of them in some situation, right? These people are making more money than they've ever made in their lives and living in a flexibility that's just a win-win for everybody. Time zone differences, right? So in the Philippines, for example, 12-hour difference. I kind of like it because we're on the same page. Early in the morning, we work together. But then while I'm sleeping, she's working, right? And while she's working, I'm sleeping. And we got a bunch of others that we work with now. But just speaking about my main VA, so it's kind of nice. And as entrepreneurs, we can keep somebody busy all day long. I'll keep throwing stuff to you all day long. So it's kind of nice. They get to kind of catch up. And when you wake up to your inbox and it's just like, this is that graphic design piece done, website done, edited, so forth. It's just this wonderful feeling. It actually manages about 80% of my email as well, which I'll talk about, which is game changing. How many of you email consumes a vast majority of your life? All right, so people are lying. But it's pretty substantial. But it's like you can really operate 24 hours a day by having these resources available to you, right? Of having a team structure. Proactive mindset. Like my VA, she didn't even know. We use Infusionsoft, which is our marketing automation platform that we use in our business. She didn't even know it. She knew that we needed to use it, right, as part of kind of the requirements. She literally went, got herself certified within 48 hours, and the next day just sent me a picture and said, hey, this is what I did yesterday. This is literally the picture she sent me. Didn't have to prod her, didn't have to beg her, didn't have to reimburse her. She didn't even ask for payment. It was just like, hey, I know we need to do this, and got certified. And then she wanted to get certified in project management, and I agreed to pay to have her do that. It cost me $80. So it's a proactive mindset, which is a struggle among some of the people we employ sometimes, to say the least. Certain generations, and things. And what's really cool here, and I'll talk about this a little bit more, is that, she sent me a picture one day, and she said, Brad, so appreciative because of the money we make so such good money here, and it's a big give-back culture. She actually goes, and they buy shoes and go visit in villages and buy shoes for kids that have to walk an hour and a half back to school every day. And it actually inspired me, and I launched a whole charity around it, which I'll kind of share a little bit. But it's a cool thing about how things are coming full circle. The world's flat. It's getting flatter and flatter. It's globalization. It's not about exporting jobs and things back and forth. It's about doing what is the highest and best use of your time. And as Americans, a lot of what our good value is we're great visionaries, right, as far as what we do in the creative process, right? And everything else it's not the highest and best use of your time, let it go to another place.